Oh, hello and welcome to another video here at Megan Jane's Adventures. So I actually wanted to talk to you in today's video about my life so far and what I've done, because I don't know, I've done some interesting things and I want to talk to you about it. I keep getting distracted because I'm filming at my desk, but my desk points out the window, so I keep looking at the birds and the trees and everything. Not very helpful. But back on topic, I wanted to talk to you about my life. So yeah, I'm Megan from Megan Jane's Adventures. I am 23 years old, nearly 24 years old. I guess it kind of starts at 15, 16 when I was in year 10 and I did my 2-week work experience at Wellgate Farm. It's like a little tiny community farm and I really enjoyed it. It's the first time I'd ever worked properly with animals. I knew I wanted to work with animals all my life. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to do, but I managed to get this 2-week work experience through a friend of my dad's. His daughter was working there at the time and I managed to get my work experience, so off I went and I worked with the animals for 2 weeks and I found out about Writtle College. So yeah, I applied for Writtle. I got my GCSEs. I done pretty well in my GCSEs considering like for what it's worth. I can't remember the exact grades I got. All I know is that I needed a C in science and I got a C in science. So I studied animal management at level 3 for 2 years and it was amazing. I worked on the animal unit for a year, 1 day a week, and we worked with small mammals. They had livestock, birds, reptiles, fish, everything you could think of they had at the time. A little bit gutted because now that I've left and shortly after I had left they got marmosets and capybaras, emus, all this really cool stuff. But yeah, so I worked on the animal unit for the first year of my placement. For the second year of my placement I worked on McDonald's farm. What do I have to say about on McDonald's farm? I liked it. It was the first proper job that I had working with animals. Prior to that I'd only worked in a music shop and that was someone from my church. He owned a music shop and I was in the church choir and I asked if he had any jobs going and I worked there 1 day a week. It was like a Saturday or something every week for about 4 months, and yeah, so it was nice to be back working with animals as a proper job. I absolutely loved it. It was the first time as well that I'd got to work with proper exotic animals. So I actually started off as a volunteer there and ended up getting a job and being classed as a senior keeper. I worked with domestic livestock, sheep, cows, horses, pigs, goats, chickens, rabbits, and then they had exotics, so they had meerkats, Asian short-clawed otters, wallabies and reindeers, which was really cool. The more that I worked there, the more experience I got with all the different animals, the more I realised what different animals needed. And I helped them through their zoo licence, so not only was I working with the animals, I did a lot of office and admin stuff. I did a lot of rotas, job lists, fact sheets. I did a lot of checklists for all of the animals to make sure they'd been fed and cleaned and disinfected and all these different things. If the animals required grooming, they were groomed, and every day the animals were given different enrichments. I introduced a whole new load of diet plans for them. I did a lot there, and yeah, I did enjoy it there. Unfortunately, it's not where I wanted to be. I want to be a zookeeper with exotic animals solely. So I applied for a placement at Colchester Zoo, and this was in 2016, and I worked for 4 weeks on the giraffe section there. So I worked with giraffes and rhinos, zebras, ostrich. They had cranes, red river hogs and aardvarks, which was amazing. I always thought of myself as a failure for that. It was supposed to be a year-long internship, and I only managed 4 weeks. But it wasn't a fail, it was a learning curve. At this point in my life, I couldn't drive. I didn't have a car, I didn't have a driving licence. I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning. I was getting the train. I was getting 2 trains a day to get to Colchester. Then I was getting 2 buses from Colchester town, from the Colchester train station to Colchester town, from Colchester town all the way to the zoo. And I did that on the way back as well. So I had to be at the zoo for 7:45 in the morning, and I left at 4:30 in the evening. It was a lot for 18-year-old Megan to be doing, but for some reason it was one of the best times that I've had. I got to work with giraffes and rhinos. It was great. It really was great. After that, I went back to Old McDonald's because I needed a job, and I went back and I didn't enjoy it as much. I saw out the season because it was my job, and at the end of that year, the end of 2017, I went to Iceland with my boyfriend Michael, and yeah, we had a really nice time. So that's one of the first experiences I had travelling. I've never been abroad with my family, I've only been abroad by myself. So me and Michael went. The first time that I actually went abroad was in 2015 now, when I went with Writtle College. We done 2 weeks we went on holiday basically, on safari to South Africa. It was incredible. I had such an amazing time. I saw animals in a completely different light. I slept under the stars and I stroked a cheetah. Like, what more could you want? It was amazing. All my friends said they were gonna go, and none of my friends ended up going. It was just me. I found it difficult, but it led to a lot of things. It's opened a lot more doors having travelled by myself. Now, going back to having worked at Colchester for a 4-week placement, thinking it was a failure, after finishing at Old McDonald's, I thought, oh, I need to find another job. So I looked through all of the websites, the pages, zookeeper jobs, animal care jobs. I had an interview to be a pet care assistant at a vet's, had an interview to be an outdoor instructor. I applied for all these different pet shops. I found the application for Colchester Zoo's year-long internship again. I applied for it, this time having a full driver's license, a car, and I got it. And in 2018, for 1 whole year, 12 months, I worked on their rainforest section, and I worked with sloths, tamanduas, tamarins, marmosets, TT monkeys and hornbills. Oh, squirrel monkeys and saki monkeys as well. And that, again, incredible. I learnt so much, I gained so many skills, and I've made some really good friends from there. I still keep in contact with my old colleagues, and I like to hear what's happening on the section, and they can't reveal too much, and I never really know what's happening, but it's nice to know that the section's going well, and all the animals that I looked after, I still get a little bit of them. Yeah, it was amazing. And then from Colchester, we had a lot of, because it was an internship, it was still school, basically. It was still learning. Once a month we had a classroom day, where sometimes we'd just be in the class all day doing lectures, kind of PowerPoints and slides and taking notes, and sometimes we were doing fake interviews for jobs, and sometimes we were walking around the zoo meeting all the other sections animals, from the sea lions to the hyenas. We got to meet a large range of the animals, which was absolutely amazing. Yeah, we got to stroke a pygmy hippo, stroke the rhinos. Yeah, so working there meant it opened more opportunities, and Colchester have a nature reserve in South Africa. So for 4 weeks in March 2019, I got to go and work on their reserve. Because I was an employee at the time, even though I was a volunteer, I got a discount off of the package of going and working out there. So for 4 weeks I went and I helped do maintenance, gardening essentially. We counted all the animals, we got to go on trips and go on safari, and I sucked it up and I went ziplining, which is pretty cool because I'm terrified of heights. So yeah, that is another experience that I will never forget. The best bit is that I'd got a job after leaving Colchester, but before going to South Africa. So I worked on another farm called Lee Valley, and yeah, so I worked there for about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks before I went to South Africa. And when I came back, I went back to the job, and it was weird having worked there and then gone away for so long and then come back, but it was really cool all at the same time. Having something to come back to really made it worth the trip, because I'd made all my friends already at the job, and yeah, Lee Valley is something completely different because I'd worked on farms before, but Lee Valley there was one farm, and then down the road there was a dairy farm, and between the two farms you'd drive the tractor and take people up to the other farm. So I learnt how to drive the tractor. They had exotics there, but it was just meerkats and reindeers, but that was still really cool to be able to work with them. They also had a Highland cow. She was amazing. I loved working with her. She was one of the best animals I've worked with, honestly. She was so great. And I left Lee Valley on the 1st of September 2019 because I went to university. At 22 years old, I decided that I want to get a degree, and nothing is stopping me. So I decided that I was going to accept my place to do a master's at Bangor University, and I had a great first year. We did a lot. We went to all different places, from Anglesey and Newborough Forest, and seeing all the ravens and the red squirrels, going beachcombing. We drove round a lot because I had my car, so I could just drive wherever I want. We'd do 1 AM drives around the mountains and just see all the stars, and it was just so clear, and I miss it now. Because of COVID, I'm in my second year of uni, but I'm doing all my lectures from my parents' house, so I'm not actually at university anymore. I moved to Bangor, and then I came home again 3 weeks later, and now Wales has gone back into lockdown, so I'm at home. My friends are in Bangor, so we'll see how that goes. Since I've been back, I've been to the zoo. Planning on going fossil hunting if we don't go into lockdown, but as far as I'm aware I can go by myself. But yeah, I mean, uni's been interesting as a whole. I actually did last year have an interview at Chester Zoo for their youth board, and that's actually it is the first time I had to do a video to be able to get the job. Every time I've seen, oh, you need to do a video, I just ignore it and I'm like, I'm not doing a video. And now I have a YouTube channel. I actually have 2 YouTube channels, which leads me on to my last point of what I've done so far with my life, and that is I started a business, Meggie Moos Creations. It's a craft business. I have always enjoyed, my 2 passions in life, I guess, animals and crafting, and sometimes they can combine when I'm making funky enrichment or something for the animals, but mostly it's my business. I set Meggie Moos Creations up in 2015. I got back from South Africa, having turned 18 whilst I was in South Africa, got back and said, Mum, I'm 18, I want to set up an Etsy shop. So that's exactly what I did. I set up an Etsy shop. It didn't go very well at first. It took a lot of work, but during lockdown this year I've had a lot of time to do a lot of things. So I set up some YouTube channels and I really focused on my business, and it's doing pretty well. I mean, I'm a student who is studying zoology, who was a zookeeper, who has her own business. I'm pretty proud of where I am, and that's all that matters, right? But I could go on about my life forever, but some of it is not that great. I have mental health issues. My school best friend died in 2018. I got a phone, not even a phone call, I got a message from, I believe it was her boyfriend. Her mum had asked him to find me because she thought that I'd want to be at the funeral, and he sent me the message over the weekend. I got it on the Monday morning at 10 AM, and at 3 PM I was at her funeral. So since then I have had depression. I believe I've always had anxiety, but it's been diagnosed since I was diagnosed with the depression, and it's hard, but it gets easier. I've lost other people in my life, but I just think I know what I want to do in my life. I'm gonna do what I want to do in my life, and I don't care what other people say. This is what I want to do, and I want to work with animals, and I want to go as far as I possibly can with working with animals, but I want to also work on my craft business and on my YouTube, and I just want to enjoy my life. And that's actually a reason why I started this YouTube channel, is to put what I do somewhere. I do it, and I don't want to brag about what I do. I don't want to be that person, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I am a student who is absolutely broke. I've worked hard making a little bit of money from my craft business to buy my new stuff. I get a very, very minimum student loan. I just want what I do. I just want to enjoy what I do and share it with you guys. I just want to have fun, and I hope you stick around and see what kind of fun and adventures we can go on and have and do, and just make the most out of stuff. Because since I done my GCSEs at 16, I think I've come a long way, and I want to keep going up and not look back, really. This started as a fun video and now it's a bit depressing, but I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and please give this video a like if you liked it, and if you did like it, please give us a subscribe. Stick around for more adventures, and also go and check out Meggie Moos Creations on YouTube. Okay, thanks a lot, bye. Whew. Okay, let's go on.